Hello friends, and welcome to the video today and to my Ineos Grenadier. It's been almost a year now of ownership and almost 10,000 miles. So I'm going to give you a quick 1 year review, but first I'm going to show you around the car, show you some of its cool features and why it's not like any other car you've seen before. This is the 2023 year model, so it's one of the first ones that came off the production line. On top of that, it is the utility spec, so it's classed as a light good vehicle. I'll show you why on the inside in a minute. But yeah, you can definitely tell that it's highly inspired by the Land Rover of old and the G-Wagon. I mean, the owner, Sir Radcliffe, wasn't happy with the direction of Land Rover, so decided to build his own. I mean, fair play, but we won't go into that. So yeah, it's finished in a nice solid black. It's absolutely lovely. I mean, looks wise, you know, a lot of people, they may not like it, but me, I've always loved the classic lines and looks of the Land Rover and the G-Wagon. I mean, personally, I've always wanted a G-Wagon, but you know, they're north of £100,000, where this one was over half the price. I picked this up for just over 50 a year ago with 1,000 miles on it, so it was a very good price. Absolutely amazing. Nice solid black paint here. It's got huge off-road tires. These, you can actually get more knobbly ones, but these ones are slightly better on road because most of the time I am on road, although I do like to take this out and about when we go on a nice adventure, and when you just want to go down these roads and when you live in the countryside, it's absolutely perfect. As you see around the side, one of the cool features, it's got a nice utility belt where you can take the screws out here and attach attachments for anywhere from gas canisters to petrol to guns, I don't know. But for me, you know, I just like throwing a bunch of stuff in the back, going hiking with my fiance and having a good time. So we'll actually head round to the back to one of its first cool features. So this is the two-way door. So a lot of these cars, like G-Wagon, Land Rovers, they open on one hinge. So if you're in a car park, it might be a little bit difficult if a car's parked behind you. But for this one, you get a little door here, which you can just open and easily throw something in, which is really handy. But I'll show you what it looks like. All open up, tons and tons of space here. The amount of stuff we can fit in here is absolutely amazing. You know, we're always buying stuff for the house and for our new house, hopefully when we move in. I threw three large olive trees in here and it handled it amazing. Quality wise, it's always going to be scratchy plastics, but again, this car, you're not buying it for the luxury, you're buying it for its utilitarian and capability to just do whatever you want. And you know, if I had a G-Wagon, I'd be scared of throwing stuff in the back with its quilted leather. This, I'm always buying gym equipment, I'm always buying heavy stuff, so this is just the perfect thing for me. Once these seats are thrown back as well, it's perfect. So as you can see here, usually, because it's a light utility spec, there's a grate here, but I just removed it for even more access. So we're gonna close this up. It's quite heavy, but you just give it a good old slam, and there you go. So we also got a little box here where you can leave like your gloves or just kit equipment to work on the car, which is great. So I'll show you on the back seats here. Oh, it's quite muddy. Why and what the utility spec does. So as you can see, the seats are quite upright. This is because it needs a certain amount of space in the back. So it's not the best for rear passengers, but it's not the worst. This is my driving position. 181 centimeters tall, but there's not that much space there. I have had passengers in the back. They say it's fine, but it's not like the most comfortable. So if you're doing like a very long drive, it might be a bit uncomfortable. I mean, my old RS5, people preferred to be in the back of that than this, so it says quite a lot. But again, not the worst place. So we're going to go into the front seat here, where you can see we've got nice heated Recaro seats, which are super comfortable. I've done like a 4-hour drive in this and it's been the most comfortable drive ever. You've got lots and lots of space. Yeah, the reason why I don't have a floor mat right now is I went to just go get it cleaned and the people lost it. I'm not really sure how they lost it. They put it in another car apparently, but it was a custom Ineos one with a split here. I won't get started. But anyway, the front seat is a nice place to be. So let's get inside. Oh, yes, it's very, very comfortable. So one thing it took me a while to get used to is that there's no display, but you get used to it pretty quick. I mean, I feel like they could have done it. I think it's just a cost-saving option, but it's not the end of the world because it's right there. Everything, all your functions are done through here, so your off-road modes. Sorry, not your off-road modes, but the off-road information, but it's just all Apple CarPlay now, so plug that in, it's absolutely fine. You've got all the buttons you could ever want here. You've got your heated seats, got all your climate, you've got everything else you need for AC controls, and you've got a little safety bar here just in case you want to hold on. And yeah, you've got your diff lock here alongside your BMW shifter because it is the BMW B58, which I'll go into more information when we drive. Nice physical handbrake, and most importantly, a toot button. I'll just give you a little preview now. Absolutely love that thing. So the main event of the interior is the nice little switchboard up here. It's just got your off-road modes here, so you got your wading, and off-road, all your ESC, traction control. You got downhill, descent alongside your external lights and internal lights, and here you've got your switchboard where you can plug external light sources, or I don't know, a barbecue or a camp gas, and you can turn it on with external plug sockets, just like so, which is absolutely awesome. But I think it's time now we go for a little drive and show you what ownership has been over the last year. So what is the Ineos Grenadier like to live with over the last year? What are my likes and what are my dislikes? And should you get one? Well, this car has been absolutely bulletproof over this last year. It's had nothing mechanically, electrically, or anything wrong with it, apart from one thing, which is the aircon needed to be regassed. So that was the only thing that went wrong with it, but all Ineos's come with a 5-year warranty. So if you're worried about reliability, there's your answer. There's absolutely no problems there. They came and picked up my car, regassed it, dropped it off the same day. So this car does have the famous B58 engine from the famous BMW 440i's, 340i's and 240i's. It's mated to a ZF gearbox, and in a 3-ton car, it works quite well. This one's slightly detuned. It has around 280 brake horsepower, but you know, when you put your foot down, for a 3-ton car, almost 3-ton car, this moves. This absolutely moves. I mean, I don't think it should be moving like this, to be honest. A 3-ton brick storming down the road. It can move if you want it to, but at the end of the day, you're not driving this car for its driving dynamics on the road. You're buying it to be able to go off-road, go down country lanes, destroy potholes even further, and go to places where other cars cannot go. Now, this car is amazing for that. This car, for me and my partner, my fiance, we absolutely love to go on adventures down roads. We have no idea where they're going to go, on hikes, and put this car wherever it can go. On top of that, she loves antiquing, so she's always buying either tables or pottery or something that, you know, in any other car wouldn't be able to fit, but because this has such a square back, it can fit anything. And now, unlike its competitors like the G-Wagon, the Land Rover Defender, or any other SUV, I would be quite scared about putting the amount of stuff into the boot of these things. You know, I might scratch the leather, but this, absolutely fine. I'll throw anything in there. I even threw 3 large olive trees back there last year, and it was absolutely fine. And I'm not worried about getting some mud everywhere, because this is what you buy it for. It's a utilitarian spec. Now, this car does sit on a ladder frame chassis, so the driving dynamics on the road are very old-fashioned. The steering is an off-road steering rack, so when you turn, the steering doesn't return back to the center. And the steering, I'm not gonna lie, you turn, and the input is about a second later. But, you know, just keeps you on your toes. Just don't get one of these, or think about getting one of these, if you want the ultimate driving machine on the road. If you want the ultimate off-road machine, this is what you buy it for. Or you just want something that you can put so much stuff in the back in and not care. This is what it's for. And it's so fun. I mean, motorway driving, it can do it. It's absolutely fun. I've done so many motorway miles on this. It does get a bit loud around 70 miles an hour, but you know, because you're in a very angular square brick. But you know, you can do lots of miles in this car and be absolutely fine because the suspension is comfortable, it's compliant, it is fixed, so it's not on any air suspension or anything, but it just makes it tougher and there's less to go wrong. And you can't really go wrong with that, especially these days. But this car has been bulletproof this entire year. It's been fun, it's been great, it's been dynamic. And it just gets so many looks because loads of people are just like, what the hell is that? Oh, you've got a Land Rover. Oh, you've got a G-Wagon. Like when I went to the car wash the other day, like, oh, nice G-Wagon. I was like, oh, it's not a G-Wagon, but thanks. It's half the price of one, so I'll take that any day. But yeah, so let's move on to my dislikes first before I go on to my likes. So the dislikes is probably the steering, but you do get used to it after a while. The turning circle is that of a cruise ship. Funnily enough, it is actually quite easy to park because it's so angular. Another thing is you have to be really careful when going to car parks. You have to research before how tall they are because this is 205 centimeters tall, and you'll be surprised with how many car parks this can't fit into. And lastly is the fuel economy. You've got a petrol B58 and an almost 3-ton engine. Of course, it's not going to be good on fuel. You know, you could get the diesel one and get slightly better fuel economy, but who wants to sound like a van at the end of the day? I know I don't. That pretty much covers, like, look, there's a truck here. Oh no, I don't need to go on the curb. Like, if you are worried about going anywhere in a regular car, this car has your back. It will go on any curb, no matter how high. It will go on any ravine, any pothole, and this is what, for me, beats over the Land Rovers, the X5s, the G-Wagons, because I'd always be a little bit worried about scratching a rim, scratching some paint, or just doing something to a part of the car that I couldn't fix or would just cause damage. With this, I don't care. I just do whatever. I mean, I probably scratched it one too many times on a branch leaning out, but as it's so tall, but it doesn't matter, I'll just buff it out. But yeah, there's not many dislikes. I think, you know, like I said, you're not driving this for the absolute driving dynamics. I mean, look, I'm moving the steering wheel like now, like that, and we're staying pretty much straight. So you've got to put in a lot to get to get anything out of it. When it comes to my likes, it's pretty much the presence, like I said, the confidence it brings you when you're driving, especially down a country road or when you're going off-road, and just the utility and the usability of this car. Now, again, if you're looking for a luxury 4x4, do not get this, but if you're looking for something that does everything and puts a smile on your face while you do it, this is the car for you. I do want to do quite a few things to this, like I want to put a ladder on the back, I want to get some new wheels for it, I want to put some skid plates on the side. You know, you can really like spec this car out to look really cool. I mean, it looks, I'd say, a lot more expensive than it is. Probably still a bit too expensive for like the features you get, because you do get manual seats. You don't get that much, if I'm honest. There's no safety equipment, so there's no lane keep assist, not that you want that. There's no autonomous braking. It is quite a bare bones car, but at the end of the day, especially in this new age of electric cars where everything is done through the screen, you've got 1,001 options, and if I want to turn on the heated screen, I have to go, sorry, the heated seats, I want to go into the screen, I've got to go to loads of like loads of different pages just to find that. This car is a breath of fresh air. I know everyone is always, especially when there's new things, they always scoff at it and then we get used to it. But I just feel like a lot of cars these days are losing their charm. And I said this in my Jaguar video. These days, cars are losing what makes them cars. They're just turning into iPad tablets. Now, I don't want to sound like an old man, but I don't want to buy a car for its screen. I don't want to buy a car for its, you know, how many colors it can change into on the interior. I want to buy a car for its dynamics, its looks, and what it makes me feel. Now, this car is pretty bare bones, and it makes me feel great every time you drive it. Now, it's probably a bit too far. I wouldn't mind a bit more technology. Now, I do think the 2020 model G-Wagon is like the ideal blend of luxury, technology, and mechanical involvement. This is a bit more towards the other end of the spectrum, but it's still so characterful and just fun to drive. And I think we're just losing a bit of that charm, especially with the cars nowadays. And I do think, well, I hope manufacturers realize this and they start bringing back simple things, just like buttons. I don't want all my climate controls in the screen. I don't want everything to be gone. I mean, even here, I'd much prefer if I had a gauge cluster here, even if it was analog. It doesn't need to be a screen. I mean, I much prefer analog, especially in this car. I just think it needs these little things, not just a plastic thing here, which gives me all my warnings. I want features in a car that I can feel, like buttons and twisty things, which is it's fun. We're just losing that in the age of technology, and I just feel like there is so much more to go wrong, because if that screen goes, everything goes. And I think I'm going to hold on to this, and I'm going to keep this for as long as it will go, as long as petrol prices stay low. Well, they're pretty expensive now, but what are my thoughts on the Ineos Grenadier after a year of ownership? Well, I love it. It may be ridiculous, it may have the worst fuel economy ever, it may have the turning circle of a boat, it may not fit in many places, but it's charming, it's special, and I absolutely love it. So guys, if you do want me to do more car reviews, please let me know. I do enjoy them. I don't only have 2 cars, but I'll make sure to do as many car reviews as I can, maybe get my hands on a few others. I have got the Jag currently getting wrapped, so we'll go pick that up at the end of the week. I'll bring you along with me. They sent me a few previews of the car. It looks absolutely amazing. Got a few more things to fix on it, like we're changing the wheel colors, and because I don't think black and the color I chose goes very well. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.